Also Chara Sachashi, Shimad, His Divine Grace. Abhaya Charana, Bhaktivedanta, Goswami, Srila Prabhupada, Jai. ISKCON Founder Acharya, Srila Prabhupada, Jai. Ananda Koti, Vaishnava, Vrinda Jai, Acharya, Srila Haridas Thakur, Jai. Prem, say Kaho, Sri Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, Shiveda Gadadha, Shiva Siddhi Gaur, Bhakta Vrinda Jai, Shri Shri Radha Krishna, Gopi Gopinath, Shyamakunda, Radhakunda, Giri Govardhan, Vrindavan, Churanam, Jagannath Swami, Kajai, Gurmai, Kajai, Shivani Glasi Devi, Kajai, Samaveda Bhakta, Vrinda.
Hari.
Oh, glorious the assembled devotees, all glorious the assembled devotees, all glorious the assembled devotees, all glorious to see Guru and Gauranga, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai, Om Vishnu Padaya, Krishna Pristaya, Putale, Shrimati Bhakti Vedanta Swamini Namani Namaste, Saraswati Devi, Gauravadi Vachari Vivashesha, Shunyavadi, Paschatya, Deja, Tarne, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Somagana Chivarandasya Garanjana Satya Chakshuram Vidikam Inatasmai Shri Namaha. So, by the mercy of Srila Prabhupada, who was India's greatest ambassador to the universe, we're able to speak about Diwali and Govardhan Puja. First of all, just briefly, today is celebration of Diwali or Deepavali. Tomorrow is the actual day of Govardhan Puja. So as far as Diwali is concerned, it's a celebration. It's a new year, I know. But it's a celebration of good over evil. And there's a lot of good things that happen on today. Or not today exactly, but we are commemorating today. One, of course, my favorite, is Lord Ram's coming back to Ayodhya. And Deepavali, actually the word means like a line of lights. So Lord Ram was on the back of the Pushpaka Vimana, the flower airplane, and he came in for landing. You had to have landing lights, right, in the airport. So anyway, they had all these, it's a line of lights. You ever landed at night in an airplane? Landing lights. And so it's also dedicated a few days before. It's the Saraswati and Lakshmi appeared on the new moon day. I mean, so many things happened. And Vishnu, Lord Vishnu rescued Lakshmi. Some of you don't know this story. She was captured by Bali Maharaj. You've heard this story? Anyone's heard this story before? And this is the day that Lord Vishnu, as Lord Rama, rescued Lakshmi. So Bali Maharaj was so powerful he was able to capture Lakshmi. That also happened on this day. And Krishna killed Narakasura on this particular day. Wow. I'm not going to tell you Narakasura's family history, because it would get a little shocking. Well, I'll get mentioned it to you. Narakasura was Krishna's son. But Bhumi. Oh my God. Not going to tell the whole story, there's no time for that. The Pandavas returned from exile on this particular day. And it's the coronation of Vikramaditya, who was a great king in India, that happened on this particular day. So it's a very, very important day. So happy Diwali, Deepavali, and we should make promises and vows and resolutions for the next year. Just like in the West, we have this thing called what? New Year's resolutions. So this is New Year's for all of us. And so we make a resolution. What is that resolution? You gotta think of what they want to resolve. Vacho Vego, Manasa, Krota Vego, Jiva Vego. No, that's that too. But be devoted to Krishna, chant Krishna's names in ecstasy, read Prabhupada's books, different promises we can make. And during the year we stick with these promises, hopefully. So it is also the day in which we celebrate the Govardhan Puja. So we're going to describe a little bit about Govardhan in this very nice slideshow. And of course that's a picture of Govardhan Hill, which I took. I have a residence at Govardhan Hill. And I spend a lot of time there. I'm going there in December. That'll be my Christmas vacation. I only get off for 2 weeks a year, so that's the time I go. So the interesting thing is that this particular hill is Krishna himself, but Krishna himself as a devotee. You may say, how's that possible? Well, the reason is that Krishna has many, many different expansions. They're all the same person, and Krishna interacts with himself in terms of these various expansions. That may appear to be incredulous, impossible, but because he's God, he can do anything. How about that? So, here's the prayer, Namaste, Jaya, Govardhana, Namane, I offer my obeisances to Giriraj. And some nice prayers. We're not going to have time to go through all this. And Krishna, many of Krishna's pastimes with Radharani and the gopis occurred around Govardhan. Govardhan is considered the most exalted place in all of the Braj Vrindavan area. And part of Govardhan is the most exalted of the exalted places. Does anyone know that part? Radhakund, which is the head of Govardhan. Govardhan is shaped like a peacock, and the head has two eyes, Radhakund and Shyamakund, right. And of all the devotees, Govardhan is the best devotee. And, wait a second. Yeah. Supplies water for drinking. This is from the Bhagavatam. Fragrant, cool water from Govardhan waterfalls, which Krishna and Balaram drink and use to wash their feet and mouths. And it supplies other beverages such as honey, mango juice, and pilu juice. Pilu is a little bitter. He supplies pilu juice. And soft grass for feeding the cows. These are, of course, the original Deshi cows. And, of course, it's places where Krishna and his friends play in their various caves, and they lie down. And here's Krishna massaging Balaram's feet. And these caves give pleasure when the weather is too hot or too cold, or when it is raining. So it's a pleasure pastime for Krishna. Govardhan has many roots for eating. And here's Krishna dancing Govardhan. You may recognize him.
Wow.
He came to Nucaloca, North Carolina, just for our benefit. Just for this day. So, and then Govardhan supplies jewels for ornamenting the body, places for sitting, that's Krishna and Balaram. And Govardhan Hill is very jubilant. I also took this picture. I got to get credit for something. So the devotees pray, "O Govardhan, let me always be with you and always near you." So here's the story of Govardhan. Once upon a time, Krishna asked his father about a sacrifice that his father was planning to do. This sacrifice was a sacrifice to one of the demigods named Indra. Indra is like the chief administrator, demigod of all the administrative demigods. It's not about Lord Brahma, he's not about Lord Shiva. So, Indra, every harvest season there is festivals in Indra's honor. At least there used to be at that particular time. And so there's this whole idea that if you satisfy what are called the demigods, that means demigods are living entities like you and me who have a very high position in society. Just like you have political leaders. Oh, forget about that in Singapore. Forget it. Erase that from your mind. So just like in Microsoft, you have people who are higher up in the hierarchy there, right? They're ordinary people. I mean, they also eat and they sleep and they, have problems and everything like that, like everybody else. But they have that position. So demigods are positions. And so what happens is they like to get worshipped by us. Isn't it? If someone says how nice you are and offers you things, you like it a lot, right? And you reciprocate with them and you give them something in return. Happy birthday, okay, here's something for your birthday. And so this Indra, he has a very high administrative post, but he actually is attached to his post and attached to the sort of worship that people do for him. And people don't do worship, he gets pretty angry, which we're going to hear about. So the residents of Vrindavan at that time were getting ready to perform this sacrifice for worship of Indra. And Krishna asked his father, what's going on here? And his father said, this is tradition, we're doing this every year, Indra sends the rain, without rain you can't grow anything. And Krishna sort of dissuaded his father, first of all by telling his father that Indra, even if he does exist, he just has to follow karma, karma mimamsa philosophy, Arya Samaj. Those of you know what Arya Samaj is. That if you act nicely, he will also reciprocate. It doesn't matter whether you like him or don't like him or worship him or not worship him. He's just a government official. I mean, something like that, if you go to get a driver's license, you don't have to worship the official who's giving you the license in America. And I'm talking about India. So that way you understand the example I'm giving right now. In India, you have to number 2 money. So, I know the nomenclature. So Indra, he likes number 2 money under the table, so to speak, or Greece's palm. And so Krishna said, no, he's just an official, you know, he just has to act nicely if you follow the rules. Mimamsa. And Krishna was preaching something that really wasn't a bona fide philosophy, just to try to get his father to stop worshiping Govardhan Hill. In fact, ultimately he said, actually, Govardhan gives us everything, so don't worry about this Indra guy. And somehow or other, Krishna was able to persuade his father, because all the residents of Vrindavan loved Krishna so much that even though he was a little boy, he was able to convince them to do something which was against their better judgment. So his father agreed, and his father began to worship, along with the other residents of Vrindavan, Govardhan Hill. And so what happened is that, actually here's a quote. Krishna argues, since Lord Indra cannot in any way change the destiny of human beings, why should people worship him? He said, make a sacrifice for the pleasure of the cows, the Brahmins in Govardhan Hill begin. And so they made this massive sacrifice, we call it Anukut. They had like piles and piles and piles of food, grains and other things, sweets and milk products, all being offered to Govardhan Hill. And then Krishna himself, in order to show the non-difference between himself and Govardhan Hill, manifested a gigantic form. Such a gigantic form, and this gigantic form of Krishna, at the same time Krishna was there as a small form, was eating everything, and then he said to everybody, there's nothing left, give me more on your, give me more. And they got nervous because when you got giant Krishna and he wants to eat, it's kind of nerve-wracking. So finally they figured they gave him a tulsi leaf, and he was satisfied. So Krishna is satisfied. And so here's the sacrifice going on for Govardhan Hill. And everyone began to circumambulate Govardhan Hill, as well as offering food. Krishna and the cows and the calves and all the residents of Vrindavan had this massive Anukut ceremony. So I've been there when we've done an Anukut ceremony. We had a lot of my friends from South India come, and they arranged, from Tirupati actually, they came and they arranged this like 1,008 preparations in pots. Was anyone there when we did that? No, no one did. Okay. You're all welcome to join us one day.
Next time.
Okay. You have to pay your own ticket. So anyway, so this way they circumambulated Govardhan Hill, and Krishna manifested his gigantic form. And then what happens is that Indra gets really upset. They're not worshiping me. And so he thinks, if they're not going to worship me, I'm going to kill them. This is definitely Jayato Vishal. Sangosteshu Vajayate, Sangat Sanjayate Kama, Kama Krota Vijayate, Pradabhavati Samoha. That's a verse from the Gita, which states, when you're contemplating sense objects, you get attached to them, and then you get so attached, you become lusty, and then after lust comes what? Anyone know? Anger. And then you want to destroy everything. It's like a little kid sometimes throws a fit, a tantrum. Anyone ever seen a tantrum? I see it all the time on the airplane. As a little kid, you know. So Indra throwing a tantrum is a little dangerous, because he has this like thunderbolts and rain clouds and the Sambhataka clouds and all that other stuff, and I don't advise you to offend Indra in any way. Of course, now I guess I'm offending Indra because it's not going forward. There we go. So Indra said, just see the impudence of the inhabitants of Vrindavan. And so he was so angry, he called for what's called the Sambhartaka cloud, which is the cloud of universal devastation. He said, go, here's the text, got this from the Krishna book. Go and I shall follow you riding on my elephant. Great storms will come with me to give the proper punishment. Pour down rain, you great clouds, they should be destroyed, that is the residents of Vrindavan, along with their cows. Terrible devastation. There were clouds and lightning and thunder and hailstorms and torrents of rain as thick as massive columns coming down. And the earth was submerged by this flood.
Wow.
So everybody was shivering when this happened. And the coward men and ladies, naturally at this point, who do they approach? Krishna. When you're in danger, you approach Krishna and you can't do anything about it. Krishna, help! What is it? Rama Raghava, Rama Raghava, Rama Raghava, Rakshamam, Pahimam, Krishna Keshava, Krishna Keshava, Krishna Keshava, Pahimam, Rakshamam. Right? Protect me. And so they all approached Krishna. And Krishna said, by my mystic power, I will completely counteract this disturbance caused by Indra. When I break the false prestige of those bereft of goodness, my purpose is to bring them relief. So, then, Krishna said, now I have to protect my community, the coward community, because I am their shelter, their master, and they are my family. So Krishna called for all the residents of Vrindavan after he picked up this gigantic hill, which is about 24 kilometers in circumference, go around it. I think it was bigger in those particular days. He called for them to go under the hill. Whoops. Let's go forward. Here we go. And here's Krishna holding up the hill. Whoops. Let's actually go forward on that. And saving all the residents of Vrindavan. And some of the residents were getting nervous that Krishna was not able to hold the hill for all that period of time. So the coward men sometimes put their staffs up. And Krishna at one point, he started to shake a little bit. But not because it was too much for him. He's not like Atlas, holding up the whole world after it gets to be a little bit too much. Then he was shaking because he was looking at some of his girlfriends. And he didn't want to get caught. Balaram was looking at him. You got to behave yourself, Krishna. So these are different pictures of Krishna under there. So it's described here, this is also from Prabhupada's writings, that ordinarily a large coward community, which included many thousands of cows, calves, bulls, and so on, could not fit under the base of a medium-sized hill like Sri Govardhan. However, because the hill was in ecstasy, being touched by the hand of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, it acquired inconceivable power and even felt hundreds of deadly thunderbolts thrown upon its back by angry Indra to be offerings of soft, fragrant flowers. At times, Sri Govardhan was not even aware that the thunderbolts were striking. And it's described the residents of Vrindavan were continuously drinking the nectar of the beauty and sweetness of Krishna. And they felt no hunger, thirst, or fatigue. And by seeing Lord Krishna's beautiful form, and Lord Krishna also by seeing the devotion of his devotees forgot about eating. Now Krishna doesn't need to eat, but he eats the food that's offered to his devotees out of love. So after a while, Indra sort of is thinking, there's nothing I can do. What's happening? It appears that he's more powerful than me. So Indra comes to the point of apologizing. And let's read this. So the residents of Vrindavan, after Krishna put down the hill, overwhelmed with ecstatic love, came forward to greet Krishna according to their individual relationships. Demigods sang his praises and showered flowers, and a great festival was held, and all the demigods played their conch shells and drums and began to sing. But Indra was feeling really bad about what he had done. So first of all, Indra brought Surabhi, the mother of all the cows, to pacify Krishna. Because he thought Krishna is Gopal, Govinda, and he's very attached and he loves all the cows. So Indra was thinking, if I bring a cow and the cow bathes him with milk. So there's this one kund right next to Govardhan Kund known as Surabhi Kund. And this is the kund in which Surabhi, the cow from the heavenly planets, brought the milk, the celestial milk, and bathed Krishna. Then Indra brought down his elephant named Airavata, and Airavata began to bathe Krishna. And Krishna became pacified, but Indra was very ashamed. He approached Krishna in a solitary place. He fell down and laid down his helmet, and he put his helmet on the Lord's lotus feet. He said, engrossed in pride over my ruling power, ignorant of your majesty, I offended you. O Lord, may you forgive me. My intelligence was bewildered, but let my consciousness never again be so impure. And Krishna replied to him, I wanted you to always remember me, a man blinded by intoxication with his power and opulence, cannot see me nearby. Execute my order and remain in your appointed position, but be sober without false pride. Now this is a really good message for all of us. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu teaches us, Manina Manadena, isn't it? Shanadapi Sunichina, Tharo Rasayushana, Manina Manadena Kirtaniya Sadahari. That one of the most important principles in Krishna consciousness is to be humble. The humble doesn't mean that one thinks less of oneself, but one thinks of oneself less. Does everybody understand that? Like some people think humility means to deprecate yourself. In other words, criticize yourself. I am fallen, I am the most low of the low, I am like, whatever, I'm like a pig or whatever. But one devotee went to Prabhupada one time in that particular mood. He said, I'm the most fallen. Prabhupada said to him, you're not the most anything. So we all want to be the top of something, even if it means being the most fallen. But like Ravana, he wanted to be the best demon. Lankeshwara, Parameshwara, that was Ravana. So we have to understand that we are just ordinary persons trying to serve Krishna. And humility means to actually think of Krishna's pleasure and to serve everyone else. Manina, Manadena, Kirtaniya Sirari, or Gopivarta Padakamala Dasa, Dasanudas, to understand that we're servants of a servant of the Lord who maintains the gopis in Vrindavan. We're not the master. The opposite consciousness is what? Ishwaraham, Aham Bhogi, Siddhoham, Bhagavan Sukhi, I'm perfect, powerful, and happy, a self-made man, woman, child, whatever. We are simply servants of Krishna and then ready for what? Anyami Lashatushijam Yana Karma Navritam Amikuyena Krishna Rishena Bhakti. Simply desiring Krishna's pleasure without any ulterior motive. And that's really what true humility is. So, this is what Krishna is teaching into it. And the problem is that many of us have positions, many of us, not me of course, have money, many of us, not We, of course, are young and beautiful. Someone said to me the other day, I was wondering how I could accept an old man as a guru. So anyway, so many of us have these opulences. Some of you are young. You have, what, a lot of youthful vigor, right? Isn't it?
Sure.
Sure. Many of you are handsome. I'm not going to pick out one. So many of you are intelligent. Isn't it? Janmaishwar. Many of you come from good families. I'm sure that there may be some Tree Vedis in the audience here, or Chatur Vedis, or Uni Vedis, or No Vedis, or Sharmas, right? Shunya Veda. So, Queen Kunti states what? Janmaishvarya Shridasya Shivirayadavana Adapuman. That all these are bewildering factors, and we are very proud. We think, oh, this beauty is mine, this money is mine. But I have news for you. Krishna in the Gita says, Kalo Osme. What does that mean?
I am time.
I am time. Also, Prithu Saro Rashtam. And by the time factor, everything gets taken away. And then we get a new batch of things in the next life. So, the point is that we're lent these particular opulences by Krishna, from Krishna. We don't own them. You may have some money. Krishna's lending it to you for a purpose. Because as Krishna states in the Upanishad, Isha Vasha Idam Sarvam Yatincha Jagajam Jagat Hinduchitana Margaretha Krishna's Vidyanam. Everything is owned and controlled by Krishna. And Krishna gives us things for this purpose of using them for the owner. That's Krishna consciousness. As some people say, talent on loan from God. Isn't it? Beauty on loan from God. Money on loan from God. Intelligence on loan from God. Try to remember that. And if he lends you something, it's for his purpose. Like if you're working for someone and you're his chauffeur driver, then his driver, and you take his car and you party with your car, with his car, sorry, not your car, party with his car, then you will lose your job. So we have to take care of things for Krishna very nicely. So these are the sources of intoxication. So Indra had this power, prestige, and some bodily beauty, and awe, and riches, and everything. So Krishna says, I want you to always remember, a man blinded by intoxication with his power and opulence cannot see me nearby. Execute my order and remain in your appointed position, but be sober without false pride. That was the instruction. And Indra bows down to Krishna. And he coronated Krishna with the name Govinda. Govinda. Means pleaser of the cows. Also means pleaser of the senses too. Govinda. And at this particular point in Govardhan, all the living creatures, even those cruel by nature, these were prophets, became entirely free of enmity. And they began to worship Govardhan Hill. And so today we're very fortunate. We're going to be worshiping first the Abhishek for Giriraj. We need to explain this, that devotees take, when they are authorized by their spiritual master, by the proper authorities, and by the residents of Vrindavan, they take stones from Govardhan Hill and they worship them because these stones are non-different from Krishna. And so we have one of these Govardhan Shilas on the altar, and we're going to get a chance to bathe this Govardhan Shila today. That's wonderful. And everybody who bathes this Govardhan Shila will get pure love of Krishna.
Hari Bol.
but you're guaranteed to get it. Pure love of Krishna. Here's a very nice verse. Let's see. This is from Raghunath Das Goswami. I'll just read it. Girin Ripa Haridasa Shrinivariyeti Nama Ritamidam Muritam Shri Radhika Vaktra Chandrat Rajanava Sida Nipta Virai Skutam Me Nijam Nikata Nipasam Hi Govardhana Swam. O Govardhan, King of the mountains, O hill whose nectar name, the best of Lord Hari's servants, flows from the moon of Shri Radha's mouth. O hill that the Vedas declare to be the tilak marking of Raja, please grant me residence near you. So, Giri Govardhan Ki Jai. Everybody. Does anyone have any questions before we do the bathing ceremony? Yes.
So, Indra was given a class when Krishna Govardhan last time.
Yeah.
Why again was given when Krishna was in Dwarka and Paridasa?
That's it. So her question is that Indra has gotten a lesson several times. It's called Punaschara Vijacharvanana. Or as one great acharya, Albert Einstein, said, the definition of insanity is you keep doing the same thing and think you're going to get a different result. So this is the danger. The bewildering danger of having opulence and not recognizing that opulence belongs to Krishna, having intelligence and not understanding that intelligence has been given by Krishna, that it goes to one's head. As they say, power corrupts and absolute power corrupts absolutely. Even we see this with spiritualists, because she's asking about why does Indra keep making the same mistake? All right, let me mention the mistakes that she said Indra made. Even before this Govardhan Puja ceremony, Indra made a whole bunch of mistakes. And we're going to mention a few of them. One is that he sees this sage's wife, Gautama Rishi's wife, Ahalya, and he thinks, she looks really good, I'm Indra. I get away with anything. And so he makes himself look like Gautama Rishi. Comes down to the earth planet and says to Ahalya, hi, I'm here. And there's a relationship there. And then he walks out, feeling a little guilty, and the real Gautama Rishi comes down. Ooh, sorry about that. Am I you, or you or me, or what? And Gautama Rishi gets so upset, this story's in the Bhagavatam, that he curses Indra to be emasculated. That's a good way to explain it. And Indra, you would think he'd learn his lesson then. No, he doesn't learn his lesson. What happens is that he has to get a transplant. In those days, they did transplants too. And so then, another time, there's a Prithu Maharaj, who is Krishna himself, Shakti Avatar. And he's doing all these sacrifices, and wants to do 100 horse sacrifices. Indra comes down, keeps stealing the horse, and he keeps acting like a sannyasi each time. Different sannyasis. He gets chastised. Doesn't learn his lesson then. So here's this Govardhan thing. He doesn't learn his lesson. Oh my God. He keeps making the same mistake over and over and over and over again. So the time that she referred to is that, all right, here's the story, that Krishna was able to bring back his mother's earrings. Aditi's earrings had been taken by this Narakasura who was killed on this particular day. Okay, so Krishna went with Satyabhama got permission from Satyabhama, who was actually indirectly the mother of Narakasura. Because Bhumi is an expansion of Satyabhama. So Krishna comes down, kills Narakasura, brings back the earrings, gives them to Aditi. You know, so Indra should be thinking, oh, thank you very much, Krishna. Oh, it's something I couldn't do. Oh, you're so powerful. He was thinking like that. And so then Krishna had brought his wife along with him. Now his wife's name in this particular juncture, he has 16,000 wives, quite a few. He's God. Why not? Everybody is one sense Prakriti in relationship with Krishna. So Satyabhama, she begins to nag Krishna. She says that Rukmini already has the Parijata plant in her place. I want one too. And so Krishna says, acting like someone who's mad, he grabs the Parijata plant from the heavenly planets. Indra and the demigods, they start to attack Krishna. And Krishna, of course, wins. So he doesn't learn. Now, you may say, Indra's a great devotee. He's a devotee. All the demigods are devotees. The demons are not devotees. Not necessarily. Shukracharya, he worships Krishna when it suits his fancy, but he's not a devotee. But the demigods are all devotees, but they are what we call Sa-kama devotees. A Sa-kama devotee is a devotee who has some desire to fulfill. And that's the problem. When you have some desire to fulfill, you're attached to your opulence, you're attached to your situation, then even if you are a spiritualist, and haven't we seen this many times with people who are engaged even in spiritual activities, that they become captured, enamored by the opulences that they have. And they attribute these opulences to themselves, they become proud, and then there's a fall down. So one has to be very, very, very careful in this world. And actually, if we're not careful, Krishna has another saying for you. Yasyaham anugranami Parishye taddanam shanai. Anyone know these names? That Krishna will take everything away and then you're going to be humbled. And if you're capable of dealing with Krishna's material energy for him, Krishna will give you everything. Like Prabhupada. Prabhupada came to the Western world in the beginning, he had nothing, basically. And then Krishna gave him everything. Prabhupada said previously he had a family and children who didn't listen to him. And then Krishna blessed him with thousands of children, spiritual children, who would be ready to do anything Prabhupada wanted. Because Prabhupada, being a pure devotee, there was no question of misusing Krishna's resources. So we have to be very careful and always use whatever we have for Krishna, understanding that Krishna is the proprietor, and enjoy it. Bhoktaram jagatapasam sarva lokamaheshwar surinam sarva bhutanam yatva mam shanti lichati. This way you'll be peaceful. Good question. Any other questions? We have another 5 minutes. Questions or comments? Kitchen Narayan Baru. Okay. I have another slideshow, but there's not enough time. It's the whole curriculum around overnight. I don't think we want to take the time. That would just take a whole hour. Yes.
So, Maharaj, we read and hear that Krishna may forgive you if you make any offense to him, but if you offend his devotees, it's challenging or difficult. But in Indra's case, we see, in particularly this pastimes, all the Brajavasis are dearmost devotees of Krishna. Then also, like, what is the loophole which Indra knows and
Well, as we see from variety of Indra's slips, problems he's had throughout the years, that you could say that Indra was forgiven, but still he never got transcendental intelligence after that. Like you see, time and time again, Indra commits his mistakes and apologizes, and the reason he keeps making mistakes like that is because his intelligence is never fixed. He's always bewildered. So that's actually the punishment. The punishment is to forget Krishna. And even there's that whole story, the Brahma Vimohana Leela, where Lord Brahma stole the calves and the cowherd boys. And then what happens? As a result, he had to take birth as Haridas Thakur. Of course, that was a benediction.
Yeah.
So when we talk about Krishna, okay, here's the whole point. We talk about God punishing someone. He punishes people according to the theory of justice in a restorative way, not in a retributive way. So one may think, oh, one's getting punished by God. Well, the punishment is more of a rectification than punishment for punishment's sake. So this is trying to understand that. Look at Durvasa Muni. You know the story about Durvasa Muni? Durvasa. There's the story of Durvasa offended Maharaj Ambarish. He tried to kill him. Similar thing to what happened here in Govardhan's story. That Maharaj Ambarish actually broke his fast on Ekadasi just by drinking water because he wanted to break his fast at a particular time. But Durvasa Muni was his guest, so Durvasa Muni got upset that Maharaj Ambarish had drunk something without his permission before he got a chance to eat. So Durvasa Muni created this big demon to kill Maharaj Ambarish. And then what happened? The Sudarshan Chakra started chasing Durvasa Muni everywhere, including to the spiritual realm. And finally, Durvasa Muni had to apologize to Maharaj Ambarish. And Maharaj Ambarish did not accept any offenses against himself. That's a devotee. But Prabhupada said sometimes the devotee will not accept the offenses, but the dust of his feet may not accept the apology. So, Durvasa Muni, he got forgiven because he became humble. So that's all Krishna wants. When there's some punishment for offending devotees, all Krishna wants is someone to rectify their consciousness and restore themselves to the proper frame of consciousness. So punishment is not just punishment for punishment's sake. Good question. That's called restorative justice. So now it's time, right? So thank you very much. And after this, we're going to be worshiping Giriraj. Everyone will get a chance to bathe Giriraj, and after that, we're going to do what?
Only on the altar.
Oh, only on the altar.
Because downstairs we'll have Damodar Ashtam, everyone can offer ghee lamps to Giriraj Govardhan.
Oh, too bad.
Maharaj, you can offer, and we are offering. Maharaj is offering, yes.
Let the Pujari offer that. I already did my bathing with Giriraj today. What? Every day. I bathe every day. Okay, all glory is to His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Sri Krishna Goswami Maharaj ki
Jai. Thank you so much, Maharaj.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Maharaj, for the wonderful class on Diwali Govardhan Puja. Shri Giriraj Govardhan ki jai. His Holiness Sri Krishna Goswami Maharaj ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna. So thank you to each one of you for joining us today. It's so nice to see all of you here today. So thank you for coming. And our program scheduled right now is we are going to have Abhishek of Giriraj Govardhan on the altar. so many people. So we can do the Abhishek in our mind. When the Pujari is doing, we are actually offering. So you can actually meditate as you're waiting Giriraj Govardhan. So we'll have the Abhishek on the altar. Immediately after that, so there's going to be a short Abhishek. And immediately after the Abhishek, we walk downstairs with Giriraj Govardhan. And many of you have already seen there's a big hill made of sweets. So Giriraj Govardhan will proceed downstairs and accept all the sweets and all the offering. And then downstairs we'll have Aarti of Giriraj Govardhan. We'll be singing Damodar Ashtakam. This is a special bhajan sung during this auspicious month of Kartik. And everyone will get the chance to offer a ghee diya. It's downstairs. And then we'll circumambulate Giriraj Govardhan. So those who have been to India, Maharaj was saying he had another presentation about all the places around Giriraj Govardhan. So in India, people actually go all the way around Giriraj Govardhan. And we can get the same benefit by circumambulating Giriraj Govardhan on the hill downstairs. So we'll have the circumambulation with nice kirtan, offering of ghee lamps, and then we'll go inside the hall. There's cultural programs and dinner prasadam for everyone. So that's our schedule for this evening. Thank you to each one of you for joining us. And also this is a very auspicious day, so I want to mention if anyone would like to sponsor any aspect of this festival, you can sponsor the Aarti for $108 or the Giriraj Abhishek right now for $108, or you can sponsor the hill below for $301 or the entire prasadam feast for today for $301. So if you'd like to sponsor, it's a very auspicious day to give a gift to Krishna. So if you'd like to sponsor anything, you can let me know, or Mother Leela Shakti, Vikasan Prabhu, you can contact us. Thank you so much. So our next program, as I mentioned, you can remain seated, but you can just turn yourself, orient yourself towards the altar. So everyone can see the Abhishek and meditate on Giriraj Govardhan while the Abhishek is going on. Shri Giriraj Govardhan ki, Shri Giriraj Maharaj ki.